This is Daf Yerushalmi Kilayim in the Article Osbar edition. We're mamish at the top of Daf Zayin Amud Aleph, and in the Vilna we are 2 lines from the bottom of Tes Amud Aleph, and the continuation of yesterday's sukkah. But there's a shol hoisa sadeu katana mao. If you had a small field which is less than 2 amos wide, so and you can't be marking 2 amos like we said before between strips. So what do? Can you plant to the meaning there or not? Let's hear from there. Let's right proof from here. Rabbi Lezer ben Shimon, Abu Yossi ben Yochanan Ish Yanoch, Amar Bigdol Chamish Imama. They give a very big shear for when you have a large field and you need 50 amos gap between two different species. V'ktana piruba. But if it's a small field, you go by the majority of the field, which means even if it's less than 2 amos, the archaka you need between the strips is going to be less than 2 amos, just the majority of the field. So it's a kavachomer. If these who gave a shear for the large field, they didn't give a shear for the small field. Chacham did not give such a large shear for the big field. We said 10 by 10 is enough. They certainly are not going to give a shear for the small one. They'll also say the majority is enough. So if the field itself is not 2 amos, so then you can just need a darchaka between the 2 strips of a rove of the field. Halacha it's a straight up case like this. You had the chitim going up in an angle into the sorim. So then in that case, mutam nation nirka so sadeu. It's okay because it looks like the end of your field. And therefore, as we said before, it is permissible. Now, what about this? Shelo chitin v'shel chavero min acher. So you had a case here where you had wheat next to your friend. Mutar ismoch mosamin. You're allowed to plant your wheat right up to your friend's field because everybody knows it's 2 fields. It's just 2 different people. Some people say that even that his friend the Baal Orim can put a row of chitim next to the Taich of the Mishnah. That means that your friend who has sorry can put a row of chitim right up against your chitim because it looks like it's the end of the stuff of the Baal chitim, not the start of the Baal Orim. Okay, continue on. Shelo chitim shchaver min. Sorry, again. Shelo chitim shchaver min achem mutar ismo ve'osa min. Shelo chitin. If his is wheat, v'shchaver mutar min acher, and his friend is another type. So it's in the previous case. Mutar ismo will tell him shel pishton. You can put there a furrow of flax. V'lo tell him min acher. And not not another row. In other words, you could put next to your friend's sorim, you could put a chitim right up to the end. Maybe even put a row chitim at the end of his sorim. But if your friend has orim and you have chitim, and you want to put 1 row in the middle between the 2, the only time to put there's flax, not any of the other species. And you want to put 1 furrow in the middle, only flax, because flax, there's a concept of doing it amanas livnok in order to check it out. So therefore, you can put flax there, not anything else. Okay, evidently that's the way it works. The flax, they have to check it out. So as it says, mutar soil tam shapisham below tam sheminachem. Shemer echad zar pisham echad kol minim. Not true. You put in between your chitim and your friend's sorim a row of anything and say, "Oh, I'm testing it." It said, even in the middle of your own field, if you have chitim on one side, chitim on the other side, you want to put pishla in the middle to check it out. Evidently, again, because everybody looks at it as an experimental patch, that's okay. Just drop something. 1 second here. Says Gemara. So, according to Reb Chaim, as you learned previously, this means you can have an imaginary rosh Torah. You can plant 1 seed of wheat next to a field of barley, because you can imagine a rosh Torah coming out of that chorba, that desolate area. But according to the Ridbaz, it's a different shot. He says it's a rosh Torah which is made when part of a soda is been destroyed. It says specialization nechrav nasa rosh tor abishlo samitchila rosh tor. In other words, originally there was it was a square. It was a square next to a square, but somehow or another plants got destroyed and now it became angled. So now it's a rosh tor. So nechrav means it wasn't originally the churba and it's imaginary, but there was initially a square next to another square, which is usher, now became a rosh tor afterwards. So this is good. So according to, I wrote inside my Gemara that the Hemshech l'Shakla Tara it seems that it's more partial like Reb Chaim. And I also wrote, which I would have to look up to see what I meant, that the Shara Teres of Yisrael says that we're talking about a churba kipshuta. What does that mean? Rosh Shanu, Rosh Tor Bahar, Rosh Tor Bebika. It says Rosh Tor Bebika. So it's going to Rabbi Yochanan, next line. Rabbi Yochanan, Rosh Tor, Rosh Tor Bar Bechurba Aser. So, and that, saying, Loshon Rosh Tor Bebika, that's not surrounded with walls. Rosh Tor Bar Mechurba, in other words, it comes from Mechurba, which is surrounded with walls without a roof. If it has a Rosh Tor from 2 minim, it's also. Okay, so evidently, the fact that it has walls around it makes it worse. Reb Chaim Kanievsky, according to him, let's see, Rosh Tor. It has to be an actual Rosh Tor, according to Reb Chaim. That's not a Rosh Tor by Mechorba. Also, if it's an imaginary Rosh Tor, that's no good. Chizkiya says, Mi sheyesh lo beis rova v'koshehu. Somebody has a base rova and a koshehu. So you have the proper 10 by 10 gap between two fields, and it has a koshu beyond that. Also, koshu is a rare toko komin shiyertze. That koshu, you can plant any species you want. Actually, before we say chizka, just remind you what the imaginary rosh tor looks like. Reb Chaim, he has over here the imaginary rosh tor. See, next to the. So actually, we'll go with Reb Chaim on this, not with the Baz. Or maybe the Rebaz says this way. It's not that he has a base rova gap. My mistake. If you have base rova planted with barley, and a kosher means you want to put next to it a different min, then Reb Chaim Meshitasa, they can use a rosh tor medumeh. So rare kol min sheyirtzik, put anything you want there, as long as it's next to it. It's a churva, you can plant there, and you could make a rosh tor. And since you make a rosh tor, like we just saw in the picture, we see it as if you did make a rosh tor. Rabbi Yochanan son, Eino Zoreh Letocho Ela Min, which Chizkiah consistent with the previous statement of Chizkiah. Rabbi Yochanan Eino Zoreh Letocho Ela Min Echad Levad. He only can plant there one min. That means that the same min from which the base rova is planted, and you can't make the rosh tor again. Rabbi Yochanan Shitasa, we saw from a few moments ago. There's no such thing as imaginary rosh tor. Rabbi Yisrael said, "Mod Rabbi Yochanan Shimaya base rova mechza." Rabbi Yochanan sees that if even though we don't say we don't see imaginary rosh tor, he holds that if there's a base rova mechza shuzorech chatzi rova mikan, the chatzi rova mikan. he can plant a half a rov on this side and half a rov on this side. So, says Reb Chaim, from our study, it's clear that Rabbi Yochanan holds that which you're allowed, where's the rosh Torah allowed? That's when it comes out from a field which is a base rova, which is 10 by 10 amos, and then there's an actual rosh Torah coming from it. And he concedes that if you have you can plant half a rova from here, from one min, half a rova from there, from another min, and they won't, as long as they're not kilayim each other, because there's only half a row between the two of them. Such as, when you planted half a rova of Sorim, and half a rova of Shibola Shul, and you have next to the Sorim a wheat field, and you want to put the barley field next to them in the Rosh Torah, and also on the side of the Shibola Shul you want to put a Rosh Torah. But he can't make the Rosh Torah from the field, which is he can't make a rosh Torah from a field unless the field is planted. And you have half one side, half on the other side. So the case is like this: you have wheat over here, and you have wheat over here, and you want to make two rosh Torah. So you can make a rosh Torah of half a base rov over here, and that's shibola shul. And you have half a rosh Torah, half the rosh Torah over here. That's orin, that's barley. And you can have, as long as there's a half a base core in the middle, which is empty. I said base core, base rova. You have half a base rova here, half a base rova there, and a half a base rova in the middle, which is empty. Okay, so let's see inside again. So, a base rova mechza, you have in the middle a base rova and a half, then between the two chitim, that shuzoreh chatzi rov mikan, plant half a rov on this side, chatzi rov mikan, half a rov on that side, with Rosh Torah, also chatzi rova, and that chatzi rov in the middle, nidon l'kan, meaning that it is it is matir both of the sides. I wrote here. I'm not sure if this is going here, but yeah, what does nidon l'kan mean? I said that many of them shatim here, and Reb Chaim is correct. It said the two meaning. No, this is something that later on. Never mind. Okay, that's what that base rova in the middle, that chatzi base rova in the middle counts for each side. It makes it as if it's a whole base rova, and therefore it's not going to be kilayim with the thing next to it. So Gemara goes further and it says, "Masisa pli Rabbi Yochanan." The following Bryce seems to argue about Rabbi Yochanan. Hayulo, the Reb Chaim brings down Yerushalmi Kilayim that it should be here. Hayulo shtei sados. There are two fields. That puts in the shtei. Achas ruach chitim, achas ruach sorin. One is with wheat and one with barley. Mutalavi telem bein asayim. You can put a furrow between the two of them, row between the two of them. Ulizra achas chita v'achas saora, and plant one chita, one saora. Neishachitim, the Yeros Kesov says shachitim, because the chitim look like the end of his field of chitim, and the saorim look like the end of his field of saorim. So let's look at the picture over here. You have it's a barbell picture. You have here chitim, one side saorim, another side. You're allowed to plant coming out of the chitim. More chitim comes out of saorim of saorim, because it looks, on account of an imaginary base tor. Here, Rabbi Yochanan agrees it's the imaginary base tor. I guess because of a different effect, and therefore it would it looks like it's two separate fields, and it's fine. Okay, because so the telem is one which juts out on both sides. Ma Ovid Le Rabbi Yochanan. What does Rabbi Yochanan do with this? Pasal Rabbi Yaakov. We learned Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Yaakov Amar Fil Chita Achar Fil Chita Achar Chita Nichnes Toch Shel Sorim. Sora Achar Sora Nichnes Toch Shel Chitin. So this is like this. Anyway, Rabbi Yaakov said this case. Chitin next to Sorim. And here's also a barbell effect, but the barbell goes all the way to the next one. So that's the question now. Is the heter over here based on the barbell of Ben Yaakov? It has nothing to do with the imaginary Rosh Torah. It's an imaginary Rosh Torah, which makes it similar to Ben Yaakov. But since Ben Yaakov's svara is the barbell svara in and of itself without the imaginary Rosh Torah. Yeah. Mutam Nesha Chita, Achar Chita, Niches Mineshchit, Achar Nesha Chita, Achar Chita, Hanichnes Toch Shel Sa'orin, and the Shara also takes out the next word, Chita. Usaora Achar Sa'orim, Nichneses L'toch Shel Chitin. So, again, according to Rabbi Ben Yaakov, it's a barbell effect. But, yeah, it's a barbell effect. And again, it works both ways. It can work either way. And I guess Rabbi Yochanan took the barbell effect on one side, according to Rabbi Yaakov, and said it works on both sides as well. I think he didn't make clear that the word, he takes out the word chita, I said, or so at the end he changed the word sorin to chitin. Seems to be quite simple, but let's read that again. Nesha chita achar chita nichneses l'toch shel sorin. V'sa'ora achar sorin nichneses l'toch shel chitin. Okay, now that's where they're flush with each other. And tomorrow, when we still get to the Daf Yud Ches, we'll talk about where one juts into the other.